Hi guys, welcome and welcome back to my channel. I'm Mackenzie and I'm a rising second year student at the University of Pennsylvania School of Veterinary Medicine. And today I just wanted to chat about some things that were essential to me when I started my first year of veterinary school, and a couple of things that I thought were essential but I never actually used. I'm super excited to chat with you today. Let's get into it. Okay, I'm gonna call this first section apparel. It's not all apparel, but it is all things that you sort of wear, especially in the clinical and lab setting. My first essential is a stethoscope. Mine is a Littmann, as you can see here. It's just the most basic one off of Amazon. I'll try to link it below. This was so important during my labs when I was learning how to take respiratory rates and heart rates. So definitely make sure you get one of these. Everyone in my class was required to have one. Your school might recommend one. As a thing 1.5, I really like this little watch that I have here. I, again, got it off of Amazon. It was very cheap, maybe $10. It's really great for taking heart rates and respirates. You don't have to keep checking your watch if you don't have a watch that shows seconds. You can just pull this up like this and it pops off, and then you can keep track of your seconds while you're taking a heart rate. And then it goes right back on. Super easy. The second essential that I have is coveralls. These are really important for when you're working with cattle, just because of the importance of biosafety around cattle. So these are actually got from a friend, and I can try to link them below. The ones that I ordered originally are really uncomfortable and have a sort of long torso that fit me really weird. So these are not my favorite pair. They're also really great, especially when you're doing rectal palpations on cows. You're gonna get a little bit dirty, so it's good to have this on over some clothes so you can just take that off and drive home, so you're not just covered in cow manure for the rest of the day. Number 3, in the same vein, is scrubs. These are figs, but you can use absolutely anything. My school lets us wear any color, which I really love because I like to express myself with color, and I get bored wearing the same thing every day. I wear these in anatomy lab mostly, and that was for me once or twice a week depending on the block that we were in. And I found them really comfortable, really great for just digging through the dissections and not worrying about getting gross stuff everywhere. I also wore them in labs that were not anatomy, so we had some clinical labs that I wore these to, and as I previously mentioned, when we were practicing our physical exam on live patients, I love to wear these because you're gonna get covered in hair, which is kind of the best part of the job, but also it makes you feel like a doctor, which I love. Okay, next we're gonna talk about technology. This is a big debate among a lot of students I know. Do I need a computer and an iPad? Should I get just an iPad or just a computer? And I can't tell you what's gonna work for you, unfortunately, but I can tell you what's worked for me. In my opinion, at least for me, I needed both a laptop and an iPad. So this is my Mac, and I also have a tablet. It happens to be an iPad. I use these both in different ways, and I use them both every single day, and I honestly don't know what I would do if I didn't have both. There's Felix in the back. This is one of my cats. So on the Mac, I did a lot of admin stuff, like looking at Canvas, seeing when my assignments were due, and taking quizzes. I also used it to write papers. We didn't have that many, but reflections and things like that. I also used it to look at our histology, and a lot of the software that my school required only works with a laptop, so it was really important for me to have that. On my iPad, I take all of my notes on here. I download all of my lecture PowerPoints onto my iPad into one app, and that's GoodNotes. We'll talk a little bit about that later. But I found it so helpful to have this, both for taking notes in lecture and also for bringing all of my notes with me to lab. That was really great. I didn't have to carry my laptop around and kind of get it out super clunky. And I'm just trying to look up something quickly. Having this was great. To go along in this section, this is just kind of a me thing, because I am a notorious klutz. I have a computer cover case. I got this from Amazon, you guessed it. And it has been great. This is just the TomTalk brand. It has been so great. I drop my backpack all the time. I run it into things. I get it stuck on chairs. So this has been a lifesaver for me. My 2 most important apps for vet school are definitely Anki and GoodNotes. I've always been more of a GoodNotes girl over a Notion girl, but that's just what works for me. I love GoodNotes because I can organize everything really efficiently into folders, and all I really use it for is to download my PowerPoints from my lectures and take notes in class and then go back and look. Hi, Biz. GoodNotes is totally essential for me. I can't imagine taking my notes without it or printing it out or anything. So it's really, really essential for me to get through the year. Anki. Guys, Anki is so awesome. I learned about this from my husband. He is a medical student, a human medical student, and he put me on this while I was still in undergrad, and it is amazing. I used it in all of my classes for all of my exams, and I did really well. I will be still using it for my second year for sure. I love Anki because you can make your own cards. Usually I just take screenshots of my lecture notes and then use the hide function and just cover up the words on each slide. And then when I go back through, I can test myself on what slides say. It's fantastic for anatomy. Either you can take pictures of your anatomy in person and then label it on your iPad and then cover it and then study it later. Or I like to take screenshots from my textbook online, and it was probably 80 to 90% of the studying that I did throughout the year. The other great thing about Anki is that it does all the work of figuring out what you need to study and when for you. So you just put in all your cards and then it'll show them to you that day. And then based on how hard it was for you to recall that information, it will decide when you need to see it again to most effectively get it into your memory. I'm telling you guys, it's like magic. I never had to think about what to study. It would just populate each day for me, and then I would do all my cards, and by the time it was time for the exam, I knew what I was doing. And it's free. Guys, I forgot to tell you the best part. It's completely free to download on your desktop. So I highly, highly recommend Anki for anyone going into classes. Some people really don't like the software. They think it's kind of ugly, which it kind of is. It really needs to be updated. It kind of looks like it's from the 90s, but it's so effective that it doesn't even bother me. It's totally worth it. Okay, in the next section, we're going to talk about some study tools. This is a really big one for me. This is my suture kit. My school did provide me with one in our second semester because we had to learn a couple of sutures, but at the end of the year, we had to turn them back in. So having my own kit has been great for practicing during the summer and keeping my skills sharp, no pun intended. This one was gifted to me from a suture lab that I attended. It comes with a suture pad. Okay, and you can see I still have some stitches in here, but this is what it looks like. It's very soft, and it comes with a little bag, which is great because these things pick up hair like nobody's business. So that's great. And then it came with all of these packs of suture. So there's a bunch of different kinds in here. There's polypropylene, there's nylon, there's even some silk in here, so that's fun to play with. And it comes with this little pack of instruments. So I'll show you. Here are all of my instruments. So that's everything that you need to get started with suturing. And like I said, this is really helpful to have after they have you return your set, if they do, and also to bring with you to any suturing labs where they're not providing you with instruments, which did happen to me a couple of times. So it was really handy to have this. Okay, the next two are textbooks. These were recommended by my school, so see what your school says, but I'm pretty sure almost every vet school will use Evan's Guide to the Dissection of the Dog. This is a pretty standard dissection guide. And my one tip here is definitely get one to keep at your house and one to keep in the lab. I had a copy passed down to me from the year above, which was great. It was already really gross from being in the lab all year, so I just kept that one in the lab all year. And this is the one that I read at home for my pre-lab work. And it was really great to have this. I will say you can also get this online usually, although I'm probably not supposed to tell you that. You can usually get it online for free. It might not be the same edition, but that's good to know if you're on a budget and trying not to buy these books. Okay, in this section of study tools, I'm gonna talk about the 3 things that I bought and never used. I was sure that these were gonna be so helpful, but never picked up even a single one of them throughout the year. So here they are. First, we have the Color Atlas of Histology. Not that this is not a great book. I mean, honestly, there's a lot of really good information in here. The visuals are really good and they're very helpful, but the way that my histology class was set up, we had access to the slides that we saw in class at home on our computer. So I just never really had a need for this. Maybe that will change next year when we're doing more pathology and I need to look at normal histology and compare it to the pathology. So I'm gonna keep this one around, but I did not use it my whole first year. These last two go together. This is the Veterinary Anatomy coloring book. You've probably seen it before, by Saunders. And this is also by Saunders, the Veterinary Anatomy flashcards. Now, I was so excited to get these. I was like, yes, this is gonna be a great way to study. I'm gonna be engaged because I'm coloring and these cards are so beautiful. Never used them, not even once. And instead I used Anki. And the reason I was using Anki over these is that I could tailor them to exactly what I knew I needed to study. So I knew exactly the terms, I knew exactly the images I was gonna use, and that was a lot more effective for me than digging through these cards to find the set that I needed to study for that exam. That's just me, maybe it'll work for you, but didn't work for me. Okay, this last section I'm gonna call fluff, but it is really important. These are the things that really kept me sane throughout the day that were not exactly class related. Number one is my Yeti. This coffee travel mug literally has been with me since undergrad, and I use it almost every day. If it's dirty, I'm so sad I have to use a different mug. This thing does not leak. It carries my coffee. I always bring a second coffee to class with me, and it really gets me through the day. I'll link it down below if you want it. I love this thing, and it was not that expensive. In the same vein, my teapot has been essential. I was never really a tea drinker. I'm more of a coffee girl, but I found myself studying late at night. I'm the kind of person that really needs a break after class. So I would come home, take a shower, make dinner, spend a little time doing some me stuff, and then I would get back into the study grind, usually around 7 o'clock. I would go from 7 to 9 or 9:30. And in that time, I really wanted something comforting and warm that was gonna keep me going. So I started drinking decaf tea, and I discovered a whole world of beautiful decaffeinated teas. I know some of you were like, we know that there's good decaf, but I'm telling you, changed my life and really helped me stay motivated on those late nights of studying, especially anatomy. Finally, a cozy desk setup. This is so important. I totally underestimated it at the beginning of the year. I have the same desk that I've had for a long time. I love my desk, but I had a really uncomfortable chair. It was straight wood, had almost no padding, and not enough light. I was in a dark little corner, and it really made me just not want to study. I didn't want to use my office. I didn't want to look at my books. It just made me sad. So I spruced it up a little bit. I got a rolling chair from Amazon. I got some posters and put them up. I got a little cute little lamp from Home Goods. And honestly, now I love to work there. Even though I'm not in school right now, I still find myself spending time in this little corner just because it makes me happy and it makes me feel productive. Okay guys, that's all I have for you today. I hope this was helpful. Thank you so much for watching and for sticking to the end if you did. If you have anything else you'd like to see from me about vet student life or vet school, please let me know. I'd love to hear from you, and I'll see you next time. Bye. I don't know what he's doing back here. Biz, what are you doing?